Okay, there we go. Alright. Dang it, OBS. Seriously. That is such a very naughty... That is a naughty looking... Yeah, okay. All we go. Oh, no, I'm going to start that again. I'm going to start that again. Well, that was certainly a Qatar sprint, wasn't it? Take 2 on this, the Qatar Grand Prix sprint cooldown room with myself, LawVS. And if you are brand new to finding me on YouTube, I am the professional yapper from on top of a ladder. Basically, I'm up here giving my takes, and this is literally the cooldown room where everything goes down, and literally it is quite cool up here. And it is especially cold when I'm recording now, and I'm actually can see my breath in front of me, like dragon's breath or whatever. But, yeah. So, keep those ladders squeaking. Yep, masterclass ladder squeak. Okay. Yeah, so, basically, this is the cooldown room. Hope everyone's doing quite well. And, how was that race? And, as I can see from many people on social media, the aftermath of the FIA meeting regarding, overtaking and passing and pushing another driver off, I mean... Well, it resulted in Leclerc and Hamilton, and that looked spectacular. If we could see more of that, then wow, that's pretty good. And, yeah, so I would certainly say that it was a very good watch indeed. And one thing I really have got to get off my chest is that, honestly, even though my boy won, I don't think he really deserved it. Honestly, I don't think he did. I just feel like something was lacking. Lando had the potential to really go and swan off into the sunset and leave Oscar for bait, basically. But I certainly think that Piastri did his part in getting past George at the beginning. So he certainly did everything he possibly could to make sure that McLaren scored as many points as possible in the sprint. So he did his job, he did his part. But as many people have said, and quite rightly so, this was certainly payback for Brazil. And according to Lando, this was his idea. This was not a team instruction born by Andrea Stella or Zach Brown. No, this is all down to Lando, probably wanting to try and clear the air and maybe get some sort of positive momentum back towards his public overview. Because after Brazil, it certainly took a knocking, didn't it? So I think he probably wanted to get some good vibes coming from the overall F1 fandom by saying, oh, well, there you go. Look, that's what I did. I'm returning the favour for Brazil, where I got the sprint win there. There you go, Oscar. Just because I'm such a generous person. Oh, Vamos Martineta, thank you very much for joining the VS Posse as a member. Thank you very much. And if you'd like to share your support for the Ladder channel, why don't you consider subscribing to the channel? Because we are getting so close to 100,000 subscribers. We hopefully could have maybe 100,000 by the beginning of 2025, and that is going to be a barnstormer of a season. And if we can see more action like Leclerc and Hamilton when they're in the same team, that's going to be bonkers. That is going to be something to witness for the ages. Don't worry, Henry, I am going to get to that. But in short, McLaren 1-2, this was an orchestrated maneuver from Lando to, pay Oscar back for what he did in Brazil. So there you go, nice and simple. It wasn't team drama or team politics or McLaren doing team orders. It was just Lando wanting to try and, give off the vibe that he's nice. And, yeah, okay. Well, what was... Oh my goodness, Perez in the pit lane. I mean, yeah, exactly, Jeffrey. Franco doing a Sebastian move in the pit lane. No, that's more of a Max move. And just like, hey, the light's green, jackass. And, I'm just going to overtake you, because there's no rule saying I can't, and it's true. The light was green, and Checo had better have an explanation for this, like saying there was some problem with the clutch or something like that, because that was that was bad. That was incredibly jarring. So I'm probably just going to be keeping an eye on social media to see if there's anything going on regarding, exactly what happened with Sergio, because that was really odd. So Bottas upgrade worked. I actually didn't see where Bottas finished. Where did Bottas finish, actually? Because I'm intrigued. Qatar sprint. What was the results? Oh yeah, Bottas finished 12th. So he managed to get in between the Aston Martins. Oh, okay, that's neat. I mean, he's still about 8 seconds behind Magnussen, who was 10th, so if this were an F1 race, he still wouldn't have scored. But at least he's in the mix now. And I feel really bad for Zhou, honestly, because, you know, they put him on the soft tyre, and that was a recipe for disaster. What was that going to amount to? Nothing. So I feel bad for Zhou. That was unfortunate for him. When are we getting F1 game? Well, probably during the off season, we'll do an F1 Manager playthrough with our actual LawVS team. Yeah, that's Stroll getting beaten by a Sauber. Ryan Nicolosi, thank you very much for the super chat. Hey, thanks very much. I'm trying to like, but anyway, thank you very much, Ryan, for your super chat. Love you, Ladderman. Thanks for pushing out such great content for us. Well, you are welcome, Ryan. And everyone, I'm glad to, last version of F1 Manager. I'm glad to be here as, you know, an F1 commentator. One is glad to be of service. And, why Mercedes suddenly so fast? Well, I don't think they were expecting Russell to be that competitive. That is quite surprising. I don't think anyone expected George to be that on it, and Lewis to be, well, yeah, he had a good fight with Leclerc, but still, he was quite a bit down on George, and the comments that he made after sprint qualifying, yeah, it's just, that was not comforting words for anybody who's a member of the Tifosi. For Lewis just to go, I'm just slow, man. That is not good. Not for nothing, but aren't you more comfortable doing live stream from a nice and comfy chair? It doesn't seem much fun for you streaming this way. Yeah, I know, out of tune, but with these kind of things, I've got to give it to the people. Give the people what they want. I'm up the ladder. I mean, granted, this time I'm not wearing shoes, so it's a little bit less comfortable than it is for a recording session. But I'm not planning to do a really super long stream about this. I just wanted to kind of get out there, touch base on what happened, and including what happened with Colapinto. I mean, granted, Checo did come in for an 11-second pit stop, where they were changing his front wing. I don't know why, unless, as the commentators will say, it was basically for them to do some practice. But still, that's, okay. You can knock about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 34. Yeah, so technically he should have been in the mix with everybody else, but that pit stop kind of put pay to that. So, yeah. That is something quite jarring. And I've got to admit, big up for people, for Hulkenberg. Yeah, he managed to get 7th place. He actually kept Max Verstappen behind him. There was no chance Max was going to get past him. He was about maybe 2.9 seconds behind Hamilton, so I don't think he was going to overtake him, but he was in the hunt. Thane, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Has anyone told you that they sound like an adult Gohan when excited? Max fighting with a Haas and Alpine, but people lose their mind when it's Checo. Adult Gohan when excited? Well, I guess so. I mean, yeah, that is probably from my other wheelhouse, so I won't go into detail here, but I guess so. And, well, yeah, thank you, Thane. I suppose so. Pierre Gasly has been on form. Yeah, Henry, apparently Ocon has come out and said that he's been getting all the parts, and he's saying that he's potentially losing Esteban about half a second to 7/10, but that is kind of understandable in a way. It's quite fair, because Esteban is leaving. They don't want to give him all the best juicy parts, but they should probably be giving him something. Apparently, they will be giving him the front wing for Abu Dhabi, so there is that. Strawberry Smoothie. My boy Oscar did so well, you must be so proud. I am happy, but I'm not overly happy. I'm still a bit like, not really sure about that. Lando was the faster of the two drivers, and there were quite a few moments when they did tell him to back off and keep Oscar in DRS, but there were some moments he was scampering off that 1.5, 1.6 seconds. And ultimately, yeah, I just feel like that Oscar, I wouldn't say he didn't deserve it, but I like the idea that Lando had, and it's good PR for him. It's good public relations, and I'm pretty sure this will go some way to try and repair the damage that has befallen that driver. Vamos Martino, is Law the undisputed Ladderman champion of the world? How did Hulk beat Max? Did he eat his vegetables yesterday? Equals side note, Red Bull need a new second. Well, thank you very much, Martino. Thank you very much. Very appreciated. And, yeah, this is a very big thing to unpack here. It's something that, it is something that is a cause for concern. And this is a very fundamental thing, is that, you know, the light goes off in the pit. It's green, you go. And then suddenly, oh no! Oh no! Big trouble for Lando! Lando's in trouble, folks. Oh my god. He said a swear! He said a swear! According to Adam Cooper, Lando Norris accidentally says the word snit in the FIA press conference as he stumbles over a word. That's a fine, he jokes. Oh no! Oh, he's lost it! He's not gonna be the winner of the Qatar Grand Prix sprint! No! Oh no, well, he's not gonna be second! No! And then George will be, blimey, the FIA should really get onto that. He should be getting a penalty, therefore I should be getting second place. Goody for me. And all that stuff. DSQ for saying snit. Yeah. Crikey. Sorry, Eli, but come on. It's a swear. And, okay, quick update. So, you know, that's oh, no. Oh, no. Lando said a swear. Oh, God. Oh, he was stumbling over the word privileges. And, I guess he didn't check his privileges. Ha. Sorry. Yeah, SF, I've been watching too many Lollipop Man comics videos. I'm trying to get some more impersonations down from that. I really am. I mean, Oscar's quite easy. He's just Oscar. Oscar. That was worse than Martin's grid walks. Impressive. Nice. Blade feel bad for the people who bet on Lando to win. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's, can you imagine that? People were betting for Lando to win, and then suddenly he gives the position. Oh, this is why I don't gamble. This is why I do not gamble. Why are you getting such news so quickly? I'm checking my notifications. I get pings on my social medias. Yeah, I do. Father, I do. And, that's how I've been trying to, I've been learning my impersonations. That's why I've been trying to get my Max Verstappen down, but it's just going, hey mate, I'm just doing the Max Verstappen impression. I'm just trying to get it down. Just, that means I can get something good approximation. I'm just trying to do that. George is quite easy to do. It's blimey. And, yeah, I think that's it. Carlos I'm working on. I think there was a thing about the thing. I clearly crossed over the line, guys. I should be probably getting a penalty. You go down to the FIA and you tell them to give me a penalty. What am I saying? Why am I giving myself a penalty? Am I getting myself into a paradox by asking me to give myself a penalty even though I crossed the line and there should be a penalty? I'm not exactly sure. Oh yeah, Ricardo impression. Oh yeah, don't worry, fellas. Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, I've gone to a better place, and that's the stock market for my entrepreneurial skills. Good. Yeah. And Lance is just simply Dad. That's pretty much all he is. Lando's tricky, and Leclerc, I'm not too sure about that one. But in any case, yeah, Lando said a swear. Oh dear, that's going to be something. Okay, yeah. Hamilton, not really quite sure about that, because I haven't got that down yet. James Freeman, thank you very much for the Super Chat sticker. Very much appreciated. And that is your first Super Chat from me. Thank you very much, James. Very much appreciated. Dam says, this is my first season of F1. I always hear about people saying Mercedes are so fast in cold races, but slow in hot races. Yeah, Dam, I think if this were Toto right now, says, I don't know, Dam, I have absolutely no idea why our car is so fast, because George was absolutely killing it right now. And, I'm absolutely confused, and I don't know what to say, and I'm just hoping that continues in 2025 with Kimi in the car, and George just keep on focusing. And Vamos Martino comes in. How the heck was Checo 20th? I was watching the race and forgot he was racing since the start. Well, Martino, to be fair, he did have to come into the pits, and they changed his wing. And the Qatari pit lane is the third longest, so he would have lost 30 seconds already. He then was in the pits for 11, having his wing changed. So he lost about 40-ish seconds or something. So, yeah, so that's why. That's why he was that far behind. They basically just put him in. Okay, so let's just see. Okay. Any more interesting news? Okay. So I've got formula data analysis coming up here. And race pace-wise, Hülkenberg was in 3/10 of a lap of Norris. That's basically how much Norris was suppressing his true power. And, yeah. And there was about 1/100th of a second per lap between Russell, Carlos, and Oscar. And, yeah, K-Mag was right up there as well. So basically, Norris was holding back his power, like his true potential. Because, yeah, something's going on. And Bottas and Zhou, my God, they were the second fastest in the second sector. That's crazy. They must be carrying a lot of wing. That's ridiculous. But yeah, so actually, technically, the fastest out of all of them was Carlos. Out of all of them, Carlos was the faster of all the top 4 drivers. But it does go to show that Lando was reining himself in. And, oh, that's a goal. that's a goal right there. Yerif, how would you rank all the Middle East tracks? Oh, good question. I got to admit, Jeddah, the Corniche circuits actually looks like a lot of fun. I would say Jeddah, Qatar, Bahrain, and then Abu Dhabi. I think out of the 4. Abu Dhabi nowadays now that they've rounded off some corners, it's okay. Like, it's all right. It's perfectly serviceable. It's perfectly fun. Yeah, much better than some of the more kind of jarring circuits. I would also say Bahrain, classic. It's nostalgic, really. Just not the endurance configuration. Okay, Hans dominance were bought fans, but yeah. So Norris was definitely preserving his full power, basically. And so tyre deg was unexistent. So, wow. So a lot. Yeah, Lando's ups were actually pretty consistent, relatively so, within a second of each other. He basically, according to this, F1 Big Data. So Norris's lap times there was no sign of degradation. In fact, he actually sped up. So he was in the 25s until like lap 10, and then he suddenly got into the 24s. So yeah, he was definitely preserving his tyres. Can there be a 12th team within the 2030s? Maybe. It depends what happens It depends what happens in the next Concord agreement, whether or not they just cap it to 11 teams and be done with it. It really depends. So that's something you've got to consider. And he did have clean air, yes. Oscar was really seriously being hurt by the dirty air. And the commentators were genuinely asking a good question. And that, is it actually worth it to be right behind somebody? Or would you rather just have clean air and actually just pump in the laps or something? But I think in that moment, they kind of had no choice. And yeah. So I definitely feel like, oh, tyre deg. So we've got tyre deg results coming in. Colapinto, for some reason, actually gained time. That's really odd. Okay. The McLarens are actually not too bad. Leclerc chewed up his tyres quite a bit. He lost about 700ths per lap. But yeah, people I think probably thinking it's going to be a one-stopper. That is such a difference to what last year was. We're going from a moment where you had to have 2 stops, I think, throughout the entire weekend. And then now it's down to a one-stopper. That's crazy how the conditions have changed. But thankfully, people aren't getting heat strokes. That's the main thing. I think didn't really just try to preserve the engine. Maybe, potentially. They might have been. Leclerc did like 3 straight fastest laps in a row after getting past Lewis. Is this going to be another race where Ferrari's great race pace doesn't matter because of terrible qualifying? Well, we'll have to wait and see, because qualifying is only in a couple of hours' time. So that is something we're going to have to be paying close attention to. So that's going to be something that's going to be quite important. So, well, Silas, I feel like Lando, he didn't do himself any favours with the way he was carrying himself. I do feel like this is something he's trying to put out the olive branch toward McLaren and Oscar, and it's a fairly valiant thing of him doing it. I perfectly appreciate him doing that, because he was the faster of the 2 drivers today. I'm not afraid to admit that, because that is true. He was holding back his true potential, and therefore it meant that he had enough tyres, so that means he could keep Oscar in front of George, and Oscar did his part in keep getting past George and staying there. So I've got to respect both drivers from doing their thing. They did exactly what they were told to do, and it all worked out. Exactly, Silas. It just shows that this is something he's taking his relationship with Oscar into very serious consideration. Champ, Piastri, that win, I didn't know how to feel with the Hungarian one. I mean, that was his first win. It was quite emotional. I'm glad that he did it. But there was just something off about it. With this one, it just feels like something even more off. And, yeah, Kameli, he said, I'm not here to win sprint races. Yeah, it's true. There's only 1 point difference, really. And I think even Oscar knows that they don't mean as much as a real race, because he got his, like, little plaque from Carlo Lame, and he was, like, almost looking to say, oh, yeah, can somebody, like, take this, please? Yeah, basically, just, like, can you just take this for me, please? I don't want it. So, it's something quite important. Mintu, tomorrow, the title decider. Well, they scored 6 more points than Ferrari, so it's not that much more. So it's now made the gap between the two teams, instead of 24 points, I think it's 24, it's now above, it's 30. So now they need to score 15 more points. So they need to score 15 more to now secure the Constructors. So 16, basically. So if they were to get a 1-2 and Ferrari were 3rd and 4th, and neither of them got the fastest lap, so 28.15, so that's 45, I think. No, 25. 43, and then 27. So that would be enough. So basically, if neither of them get the fastest lap, then they're going to have to... they're going to have to be 1-2, and then Ferrari has to be 3rd and 4th, basically. And the fastest lap would be ideal, great. But I think even then, mathematically, it's quite difficult now, because they're going to have to completely collapse in the race, which I really don't see happening. But I do feel like Ferrari will be in there, because I feel like they probably would tweak the setup, and hopefully have something that's a bit more consistent for qualifying. Julika Nato? Why do I feel a third of McLaren's wins are not deserved by their drivers? Piastri in Hungary, Norris in Brazil, Piastri now. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a really good point. Is that these wins are, you know, kind of like swaps or exchanges, and the true result that will be written down in history does not reflect what happened in the race, and it does throw the legitimacy of it into doubt. So that is something. Oh dear. So apparently, Christian Horner was caught saying, when the light goes out, you're supposed to go. So I don't think they were impressed by that. So I think that was, yeah, Cameron just came out with that. So I think Christian, that was like, I don't think Christian Horner can back that up. I don't think he can. If I watch any others, I do watch Le Mans when it's on. So I do make sure to watch the 24 hours. Do I 1 foot the ladder? Yes, I do. So I'm just switching between feet at the moment, because it is getting a little bit cold. Or no, a little bit, you know, kind of like switch between the two. But my goodness, Lewis is so going to fail at Ferrari. Yvonne, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, a change is as good as a rest. So that is going to be something for him. But, I don't know. Is Perez do it on... I don't think he would do this to himself. Because what good would it do? What is it going to serve? Unless he's trying to troll everybody. Do I have mice in my attic? No, fortunately not. No, we don't. We made sure to check that when we actually got the place a few years ago. What's your thought on the Williams and Ricciardo being in mind for Cadillac? I don't see that happening. I don't really see that happening, honestly. I think he is pretty much done. Oh, cool, the 6 hours of Jeddah. By the way, the race director for that will be Niels Wittich, so he's just gone back to endurance racing. So good for him. He's actually managed to get a job immediately after he got sacked. So I'm happy for him. Happy for him indeed. You just have to ask what happened to the check over years past. This has been a fast drop. This has almost been too fast, you know. Something's going on here. Something's really, really weird, because a driver cannot drop off this fast. The only other time I've seen this happen is with Damon Hill in '99. Because his fall off in that was ludicrous. Have I played the F1 games? Yes, I did. I dabbled in F1 22 and 23, I did play a lot of F1 2020, I will admit. Have I ever had an accident? No. I've kind of almost, I missed a rung, but I managed to catch myself, fortunately. So, yeah, all good there. Yeah, so, okay. What do I drive? I drive a Volkswagen. I drive an estate, because I'm a family man. So, yeah, you got to be practical with a dog. So you got to think about it that way. It's a nice estate though. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Checo, honestly. As far as I'm concerned, it's like, I've got no idea. I've got no idea anymore. But Dog Bearded Collie. This is Asper. Why? It's to contain my lofty thoughts. There. Need I say more? I would say, based on its construction and the fact that it is cold, I would say it's probably aluminium. I would say that. So there you go. Racing game franchise. Well, I used to play Live for Speed back in the day, so I like that. I used to play Project Gotham. I like Gran Turismo, but I just can't commit any time to these anymore. But right, okay. So all we can say is that we've got to get ourselves ready and braced. I've got to go walk the dog. So we've got to get ourselves prepared for everything. The cooldown room, it's been fun. And get yourself ready, everybody. In just 2 hours' time, we will have qualifying. That's going to be something really interesting. So take care, everybody. And I shall see you all very soon. And I shall that which will be the winners and losers video on Monday. So we got about 2.5 hours ready until then. But until then, see you around.